Hello. My goal is to read 26 physical books this year, the alphabet. So in that, when this month's book club book came up, I decided to get it in physical copy. Fate, Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. I couldn't read that backwards. That's our book club book for this month. So I laughed a little bit myself because I was like, I'm going to read this book this entire week. And it was like a completely different book. You'll probably see it pop up on here. It'll be Big Magic. I was like, yeah, I'm going to finish this week. And then I was on the way to my boyfriend's house, and I was like, when's book club? Next Wednesday. So it is Monday. I have a little over a week, but I also have a lot of projects that I'm trying to finish. So I'm like, will I have time to sit down and read for hours on end? And physical books take a little longer. So this is going to be my first fiction, my first fantasy. I don't actually know what this is. I don't read anything whenever I do it. Like when we vote for our book club books, I'll read a little bit of the synopsis, but like I'm really just like keywords. I'm just hitting keywords. Like, is it fantasy? Is it romance? Is it, I don't know, is it murder mystery? Like those types of things. See what triggers they have, whatever. But for the most part, I do not read the back. I feel like it kind of ruins the vibe a little bit. I think I'm going to start this tonight. I'm going to see how far I get in it. I'm going to give little reviews as I go on. I feel like I'm not going to like, I don't know how much I'm going to talk. This is my first like true book review that I'm going to do. So I think maybe I'll do like a how I feel about things every chapter, or maybe I'll just like get really into it and just like only pop up whenever I have something really interesting to say. I don't know. I guess we'll find out together. Okay, I finished the first chapter. Here's what I got. Main character, she's a woman. We have no clue when this is set, but I'm assuming it's probably considered the past. I'm picturing like older Roman Greek times. Like gladiator times. Maybe that's because I just watched the movie. Anyway, she's married. She's 20. She's married to an idiot narcissist who has one drop of God's blood. So like he's special, I guess. I don't know. But he's a complete asshole. He's also a fisherman, and she does a lot of the work. So like, of course, she tries to save the fish, and she throws a fish at a guy, and he's hot. So, I don't know. He threatened to kill her husband, and then like take her away, I guess. She said no. So I'm gonna go on a limb here and just say like they're gonna end up together, or at least doing things together at some point. And he's gonna be someone special because there was a name that the Jarl, whatever Jarl is, there's a name that like she recognized it whenever he said that he works with them. So, or like he's like, oh no, I have to go back to that guy. And she's like, you work with a Jarl? And he's like, something like that. And so like there's like a little winky face there, I guess. So he's gonna be somebody special. He's clearly gonna be somebody special. And it's gonna be like something dumb, like not dumb, but like it's gonna be something like she's I don't know. I don't know that I don't know. I don't know. It's gonna be like if the Jarl is like the prince, then like he's the prince's son or something like that. Like he doesn't work for him, but like he's the big guns, you know? I wonder if they're going to be, since she said her brother works for the Jarl, I wonder if they're gonna know each other already. And that's gonna bring him into her life again. I guess we'll see in chapter 2. not done with this chapter, but I had to. I had to. Okay, so first off, she has a secret. We don't know what the secret is. I'm gonna assume it's something magical. Like, I don't know. She's also her mom said it was like, if people find out who you are, you'll never have a choice. So like I'm gonna assume it's like something like her blood can be used for something, or like her she has some skill that like would turn the tides, like if she fights on their side, they'll never lose or something like that. Like something like the gods had a hand in somehow, maybe. Um Also was like, oh my God, her and her brother have such a cute relationship. Like I love that. Like I love it whenever friends like they're like almost friends, not just like siblings, right? And then he's like, I know you don't like your husband, but if you guys if you ruin this relationship, then like my chances at happiness are ruined because her husband is close with his boss. And so like if she ruins the relationship, then he's going to get fired and then he won't be able to like afford the ring for the girl he wants to be with. And it's like, why does she have to be unhappy so you can be happy? Like what? Okay. And she can't be a warrior. She wants to be a warrior. Um, Looks like her husband is kind of like fed up after a year of her just like not wanting to have babies. Um, and wanting to be a warrior, I guess. I don't know. So we'll see what happens there. If they stay together, if she fights with the Jarl. Was that correct? Jarl. Anyway, but the reason I had to stop is because I was right. Hot guy's his son. Um, Something like that. Yeah, he's a son. So, now she has to fight him. Whew. So, I was right again. Something to do with the gods. I know that was very general. She's special. This is about the time that I have to say I dislike this trope. Though I am probably going to love this book. Okay. It's very well written. I'm thoroughly enjoying the banter between the two main characters. I'm assuming they're going to be the two main characters through the entire thing. Bjorn and Freya. Love the banter. Love the attitude. Um, Dislike the whole like she's the only person that could possibly do this one task. Like the type of fated that I like is when it's like someone will come up and will do these things. We just don't know who it's going to be. And then like somebody does the right things in the opportunities that they have to become that person. Love that trope. The trope where it's like one person is born with this in their blood. This one person is going to do this thing and it's going to set off this and this and this and this and this and this. That trope to me, it's just like, of course she's special. But she's not special because she's a person who actually like is really good at things. She's special because of something in her blood that she could never have controlled. I don't know why it bothers me so much. Maybe comment why you think that bothers me so much. Like what put it into words for me because I can't. I've never been able to describe it. But anyway, so aside from that, really good. Love their fight scene. Love the dynamic with Bjorn and the dumb husband that I already don't know his name. He's gone anyway. We don't care about him. Um, the brother kind of turned out to be a little pussy. Like, I don't know. Again, this is like the whole like he's like, I'm here to protect you. But he's actually like he doesn't do anything to stand up for her because like ultimately that would make his life inconvenient. So that's a little upsetting because I really liked him at first for like the whole 3 pages that I had before he started doing dumb shit. I don't know if she's supposed to marry the like main warrior guy. Like if I don't know if that was like in the prophecy that like she's supposed to marry him specifically or just that title because I feel like what's going to happen is it's like she's supposed to be a kingmaker. She's supposed to do all these really cool things and like because of her existence like it will unite the kingdoms or whatever you call them. I have a feeling somehow that Bjorn is going to unseat his father and he's going to be the one that gets with her because I just don't see her actually staying with the main dude. Snorri. Snorri. So, she's now supposed to marry him and be his second wife. Maybe they'll get married and then Bjorn will unseat the guy and whatever, but I have a feeling it won't even get to the point where they're married. I think he's going to unseat him and she's going to marry him instead. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, we'll see. I'm enjoying this though, and she did a little badassery there for a hot minute. Won't tell you what that is because that's kind of like it was like kind of like a good exciting moment. I did read chapter 3. I read like the rest of chapter 2 and chapter 3 because chapter 3 was really short. So now I'm on chapter 4. I'm on page 37. Okay, so I have finished chapter 5. So I think 4 and 5. I didn't stop, I don't think. One of them was really small. Okay, so the only important thing from that battle that I mentioned earlier and some really cool warrior thing that she did is she burnt her arm. Okay, so her right hand and arm is now burnt, and she like basically 4 and 5 was her healing. But it was really fast because it's gods, right? So like they had like healing powers and stuff. And they made like a big deal about like the god of healing can bless you with healing, but like you don't know if it's gonna be like baby soft skin or if it's gonna be like weathered old person skin. And it seems like she has like scarring and it's numb and stuff. I feel like that's gonna come in important later. And that's really the only thing that's like really hit is she's acknowledging that she's going to have to marry somebody again that she doesn't want to marry. Um, she's thinking about her brother. She's thinking about like the fact that she just feels like she doesn't have any choices in her life, and like thinking back on like how she found out that she had a drop of a god's blood. Um, but for the majority of it, it's like she was just healing, and she keeps mentioning how numb her arm is. And like they mention, obviously, like there are people that are like, it's ugly. We got to cover it up. It has to be a perfect wedding. You know, like there's that. And like the Jarl is like, God, what did he say? He said, well, you don't have to be pretty to do your part or something like that. So I feel like it's going to come in later and just be important that she has like a burnt hand or like, I guess, a scarred hand, and that it's numb. But I don't know how yet. Also, she is getting married to the Jarl like right now. So I don't think we're going to get the whole dream of um, the son coming in and making it so she doesn't have to go through another wedding. Well, they're married. It's fine. It's whatever. It's a little interesting that he has two wives and that the first wife is like revered in the town, and immediately everybody hated Freya because they were like, "Ugh, it's so disrespectful to the first lady of whatever." But like, they weren't upset with the the dude. Whatever. We're acknowledging that this is like a sexist society. Fine. Um, there was this thing that like they do whenever somebody finds out that they have a drop of blood from a god, or like as soon as their powers show up, then they get like a blood tattoo. Um, it's like this whole thing where like a witch comes in and they say a spiel around the person. And then the god like sends the tattoo to them, essentially. Like it nobody gives it to them. It is sent to them by the gods, right? So, it happened, but like two people, so like the lady that Freya's like the first wife, she was the witch that did it. So she saw everything that was happening. Freya felt everything that was happening, and then Bjorn saw everything that was happening. Everybody else just saw her kneeling there. So the three of them experienced her being basically ripped apart. And then a second tattoo also appeared. But it was on the scarred hand, so it's also scarred and they can't tell what it is. So we don't know what the second god is. We don't know who that is. We don't know what they did. We don't know who they are. Um, she also keeps emphasizing that like everybody else is stronger than her. So I'm gonna assume this is like a strong god. Like she's like the god of the shield or whatever is like a lesser known god or a lesser god. So like I'm gonna assume this is like a major god that she's also like maybe one that's like never really gives their blessing to anybody. Um, and it's interesting because it's like the Jarl or whatever. He keeps like taking the prophecies that everybody else is seeing or that he's been told and being like, this is where I think we're going from here. And it's always in a way to benefit him somehow. So like he views this as like Freya's going to be ripped apart and then Bjorn, because you came in and you stopped it from happening, you're going to be her protector. Like you're supposed to be her protector. And it's like, okay, but then like maybe they're just supposed to be like intertwined some other way. Like it's just interesting how different you can take the same sentence or same experience. So I don't know. I feel like she's going to have some special god that has also blessed her. She's going to maybe be torn in like which direction she's supposed to go in. I don't know. Maybe that's too literal. Um, her and Bjorn are going to be together for sure. He's like super jealous. Like they are both like eyeing each other on her wedding night. Um, and he's like pissed that she's got to go and do things with with his dad. Um, so I don't know. They're going to consummate the marriage, which I still think is like a weird. I can't believe like we as humans did that, where it's like you gotta consummate it, and we gotta listen, or we gotta watch. That's so weird. That's just like gross. She also has already had a thing where like she to get the blood tattoo, she had to be bared to everybody. That's so weird. Um, I mean, I guess it makes sense kind of in like the time period, but like it doesn't make sense in like life. I guess I don't know. It just seems silly to have ever needed, but it is written so well. Like it flows so quickly. Um, but again, we're seeing her she has another god, so it's definitely the whole like nobody could ever take her place. It had to be this specific person. And everything had to line up perfectly to get her here. Which makes sense. It's fate inked in blood. Yeah, it's fate. But it's still I'm not like a big person on this trope, but I'm enjoying the story anyway. And that's the whole point, right? So I'm gonna keep going. Okay. I just finished chapter 9, which is page 92. Okay. So first off, they faked the marriage. Like they faked the consummation. So the marriage happened. They faked the consummation. Um, they got away with it because they bound Freya to the Jarl with like magic and stuff. Okay. Put a pin in that. I'm gonna come back to it. She did escape kind of while the wife and the Jarl were like doing things to like make it sound like they consummated it, right? So I'm like consummated it, not them. Okay, anyway, so they were having fun. She leaves through like a back entrance and runs into Bjorn, right? And he's like, you can tell he thinks that they actually consummated it, and he's pissed. And then like raiders come, and this is when it's like, oh, hey, everyone knows who you are now, and they want to kill you because now that he possesses you, then the only way to keep him from ruling over us is to kill you, right? Now we go back. Okay, so here's where I think. Okay, wait. Here's where I think the interpretation was wrong. Okay, so the Jarl's going on this with like, okay, possession, whoever has possession of the shield is the one who will unite everybody and become king of like this great nation, whatever, whatever, whatever. And of course, everyone's like, okay, that means you have to get married. Duh. Like that's how they know possession now, right? Like the woman is like an object to be possessed. Um, and that's that makes sense, fine, whatever. That's kind of why they still did the the magic-y thing, the pulling them together, and possessing her through magic or whatever. And they did like specify that like now the wife is going to be in danger because if anybody finds out they did it through magic, then killing her is the only way to kill the spell. So like that's obviously going to happen, or something is going to happen to make this possession non-existent or whatever. But I think, what if the possession is possession of her heart? Like, what if it's like not in the sense that everybody's thinking like, oh, well, she's my wife, so she's my property. What if it's like we're deeply in love, and so I possess her heart, she possesses mine, and that's the type of possession. And so like maybe that's how Bjorn is going to be the king because we know it's not going to be the Jarl. Let's be honest, or it might be once he gets to that position, but it's not going to be the current one. It's not going to be his daddy. So that's what I think. But everyone is like treating her like a child. She's 20 years old, fine, okay. We know that she's learned a little bit of how to fight, but like not really, let's be honest. But she does have magic. Like she has like a power. She has like the shield that is magic. So like there is that. But like they're not letting her fight. She escapes to fight, right? Duh. Duh. Um and like if she didn't have power, I'd be like, bruh, you're gonna die within the first 5 minutes. But like she has power, so she's kind of like failing epically at trying to kill people, but they're like trying to keep her under lock and key already. And it's like the whole point of this was to have her fight for you, wasn't it? Right? I don't know. Maybe maybe I'm not understanding the thought process of these people. I don't understand war in our day and age. How am I going to understand it from Norse mythology's age? But anyway, so that's where we are now. Hello and good morning. Actually, afternoon. Already had a client today. Have an interview in a little over an hour for a podcast, for the Queer Vision podcast. If you aren't listening yet, you should. But honestly, last night, whenever I went to bed, I deeply regretted the fact that this was a physical copy. I don't like reading physical copies in bed. I want to curl up on my side. So that's part of the reason that like probably all the books that I do on this will be, unless I'm just talking about them, will be physical copies. But anyway, so I'm excited to dive in for an hour. So battle happened, whatever. Honestly, wasn't wasn't a lot of highlights from that. But um I mean it did highlight that, obviously people are going to be out to get her now, right? But I did realize I may have misinterpreted something last night. So it said that whenever she had the whole vision of being split and all that stuff, and she went through that hoopla, um, she had a tattoo on her left hand that looked like a shield, and then she said she had a tattoo on her right hand, and it looked like she had gotten tattooed before it was scarred, so it was like unseeable. In my brain, I took that as it's two different markings, so the other one's from a different god. I'm realizing now other people are talking about it, and it looks like to them it's just one, like one marking from the same god. I think it's leading up to that she has two different tattoos. It's just since they couldn't see the image on the one on her right hand, they assumed it was a shield because who would be blessed by two gods, right? But I think that's also part of why maybe she was torn in half, is because it's actually like which of the gods does she want to go with, right? Um, and that's why that's being misinterpreted by the Jarl. So we have a little bit more of a backstory on the on Bjorn. Okay, so first off, of course they have to like kind of hate each other. So because the Jarl Snorri, because he thinks that like Bjorn has to be bound to Freya to like I don't know like protect her or whatever, then he's like, you guys will be unseparated from now on or whatever. And of course they both hate it for different reasons. But he just basically is like, you can tell like the author's kind of just trying to make it like they have to hate each other or else they would love each other, you know? Um, which is probably a part of like at least why they do hate each other right now. But then also we had to give him some trauma, right? We had to find out that he had trauma. So he is the unofficial child. I mean, he's officially a child, but he's not like the Jarl's wife's son. It was a mistress. That mistress was actually the seer that told the entire prophecy that we're hearing. Um, and she's dead. And apparently Bjorn was like kidnapped really young and didn't really grow up with the Jarl as a dad. Didn't grow up in this area. So like I feel like this is just setting it up to be like, hey, there's trauma because she has to heal him. At least that's what it would be if it's like any like traditional fantasy thing or traditional like romance. So interesting. Not sure how I feel about it. Otherwise, maybe it's going to come in important later that like who he was kidnapped by maybe. But I feel like right now it's just honestly for the trauma. To give him some like edge of like why he's so damaged, why he's so easy to hate, and why he's so quick to hate. So that's the update right now on Bjorn. We don't really have much of an update on Freya. She's healing, she's learning, she's kind of being a little bit badass and snarky and all that shit, which we love, right? This is I'm at page like 121. We have not passed the Bechdel test yet. So that's interesting to me. But I mean, it is a fantasy and is I don't know. That's all I got. Okay, so there was this thing that she saw whenever she was getting that like right around the time whenever she had like her little blood tattoo done. I say little like it's not a big deal. Anyway, okay. So there was like a specter, a dude in like a cloak that was smoking, okay? And I forgot about it because I was distracted by everything else that was happening. She saw him again when they're traveling. He said that she needed to give sacrifice to the gods on the mount at the first night of the full moon, or else her thread would be cut short. So, and then like Bjorn was like, I don't think he was threatening you. I think he was saying that like there are people along the path that want you dead. And she's like, no shit, Sherlock, they do. But also like it kind of still sounds like a threat that like the gods would put an end to it. Like they wouldn't support her if she doesn't sacrifice. Which I mean I guess is kind of like the point. Is you're supposed to sacrifice. This is a really long chapter, so I wanted to stop because I know I'd forget about it. I'm not sure why, but in the middle of that, it went blurry. I don't know where. So I guess I'll see if I'm still putting in blurry stuff or I can cut it out. Anyway, okay, I'm on page 148. I just finished chapter 14. They're going on an adventure. Um, it was originally like a whole group of them going. I don't remember in the first place like why they were going to this place, but then they were like, "Oh, we have to go here anyway because she has to do the sacrifice, right?" And they were attacked, and so like people died, and now it's like it has to just be Bjorn and Freya going. Um, which like part of me is like, okay, they're going on a dangerous route, so like this is like basically like a hero's journey type thing. Like she's gonna experience like a bunch of different stuff. But then also part of me is like, is this like the way they're gonna get together? Because they can't get together while everybody's watching, right? So like they're gonna like get super close and then they're gonna get like vulnerable. Then we're gonna see the true meaning of the prophecy. The prophecy. So I'm tired. I'm ready for hello. um I just wanted to warn you why my hair looks like this. I'm gonna read, but it's been a day. So I decided I'm gonna treat myself to dyeing my hair and I took a nap and now I'm gonna read because I don't want to focus on how much I have to do with my life. I just need to remember why I love it. Okay, so they started their adventure. And honestly, this is where I'm starting to really like it, okay? Because it feels very like Lord of the Rings plus Pirates of the Caribbean. They um they went in it was like four people. They got rid of the warrior, like he like took the horses back, and then they got rid of the the one who writes all the songs. Because they were like, bruh, it's not safe for you. It's not safe for us. You don't need to be here. You know, whatever. So they sent those two back. So it's just these two. Okay, it's just Freya and Bjorn. Okay. First off, sexual tension had to start somewhere, right? I mean, it's kind of been a thing, but like we knew they're alone now. Come on. Um, so it's starting for real. She had to stop herself for the first time from, kissing him and stuff. But the last two chapters was essentially them going into a mountain and then like up some weird steps and then they fought skeleton monsters. I mean, like they were more like sentient than the ones in Lord of the Rings, like whenever that battle happened in the mountain. So that's why it was like I was imagining something a little bit goofy, though like the explanations weren't goofy. It was giving me some Pirates of the Caribbean. I just finished chapter 18. I'm at page 198. Honestly, I don't have many predictions from all of this, um, aside from the ones I've already listed, because obviously they're gonna get together. The um, they're getting closer. They fought in another battle together. Um, she's learning more about her powers, which can extend past using it as a shield, and now she can put it on herself and a person instead of just like a shield-like object, which is kind of cool. I feel like there's going to be more to it, especially if they don't add a second god in. They did meet back up with the Jarl and his group because they separated so that I don't know, I guess it was like they knew that the predicted route they would get caught, so that's why they split up. That's why Freya and Bjorn ended up going to the mountain. Uh, they defeated the the skeleton monsters. They also killed a lot of other people at this new village before they got into the new village. And the new village, they're not allowed to have any weapons. So like all the weapons had to be dropped off before they went in. And they had to swear to all the gods. So no violence is allowed to happen inside, I guess. Or at least no weapons are allowed to happen inside. I don't know if violence is allowed. I don't or I'm sorry. Violence probably isn't allowed. I don't know if violence is going to be punished the same way if it's not with a weapon. Well, they kissed. It wasn't like a real like, oh my god, the tension kiss. It was they're going to find out who we are and they're going to try and kill her if we don't make out. You know, like those ones. So they did that. Um Also someone's working with the king that had kidnapped Bjorn. Now, here's my thought is see, Freya thinks that it's Yilna, however you say her name, it's the wife of Bjorn. Nope. Not the wife of Bjorn, the wife of Snorri, the Jarl, because she was gone and like Freya followed her kind of. Well, didn't really follow her, but like left after her and then like ended up in the king's camp and like heard someone talking to the king saying like a mother's love and all this stuff, right? I think that Bjorn had said that he left to go see a seer, and he said this in front of the Jarl who can detect a lie, but this is like the fairies where it's like they can detect a lie, but it's not an untruth to withhold. So I think his mom is actually still alive, and the king is actually like on Bjorn's side and knows that the Jarl Snorri is not really a great dude, and um like they're going to try and unite the nations by getting rid of Snorri because nobody wants to work under him. Nobody wants to live under him as a king. I mean, obviously he doesn't even care about his people, but you know who does? Bjorn. And the king seems like his nation is doing good. So that's what I think. I think that the seer, who is Bjorn's mom, is actually still alive. Snorri is an idiot because he's like sitting here like we should just pretend that our people aren't going to suffer because we left them unprotected. Bruh. So Freya kind of stood up to him a little bit too and was like, we think that there's going to be a uh, a battle. We should go back and protect them. So good on her for standing up to him. The warriors are seeming to follow her, not him, which is also great because also like I don't know, they didn't actually give us the official like, or maybe they did, and I just don't remember it. The official like prophecy, but it never said that it had to be a king that they were uniting. So maybe it's just uniting the nations, and maybe she's going to be the one that they're under. I am now on chapter 23. So the two biggest things that I have from these chapters that I just read are one, though the Jarl doesn't give two shits about the people and just wants to win against the others, which what's the point in winning if you don't have anybody under you, but whatever. People are willing to follow him because he believes what he says. And two, my favorite person is Bodil. How do you say her name? Bodil. Bodil? Bottle? I don't know. She is another Jarl. She's the only female Jarl currently living. And surprise, surprise, I love her and all of her warriors that are also women. So she's kind of like talking Freya through stuff. And like, she's like, I'm on your side. And like, if your side is to choose to like work with Snorri, then yeah. But also like, he's just a fucking man. So she finally admitted to him, she's like, I've been avoiding you. I mean, he kind of was like, why have you been avoiding me? And then she's like, I've been avoiding you because like you keep saying that we needed to do what we did where we made out, but like I wanted to keep going. And then if we do, we're gonna get caught. And not only will your life be in danger, but so will my family's, then I'm gonna have to be kept alive and have to deal with that. So I mean, they did make out again. Honestly, I don't even know if they'll end up having sex by the end of this book. I am going to change a theory though, or a hypothesis, or whatever. It doesn't matter. Um, my thought was that Bjorn was the one that was working with the king because I was like, I mean, she said that she thought it was a woman that was talking to him and like they were talking about a mother's love, but like I really thought like that his mom was still alive. Turns out that the specter came back and the emphasis was on her green eyes. And everyone, like, once she said that to people, people were like, "Oh my God, it's her. It's the mom. It's Bjorn's mom." Could still be like a farce. Could still be like somebody else that had green eyes. But she then showed Freya an action that somebody was doing where they like drew in some runes, and the runes like were sharing what the Jarl was talking about to his people, like where they were going to go next. And she says that's a woman. I feel like it would be very obvious if it was a man, like from far away. What do you call it? The lady that sings. She was acting kind of weird whenever Freya was telling the Jarl about like there's a spy or whatever. Like she was acting a little weird whenever she got pulled over, which could just be because she's like essentially a hostage. But who's to say she doesn't have a kid? It was a little weird that the Jarl wasn't like they okay, the lady that can tell when somebody's telling the truth. They could literally line up every single person, every single woman, and be like, "Did you say the runes? Did you carve the runes or whatever?" And for some reason, the Jarl doesn't want to do that. He's like, "That's not the point here. The point is that Freya has her path." And it's like, wouldn't you want to know who the spy is? So we have finally gotten to the point where they've at least done something. Um, we're at the end of chapter 26, page 298. Basically, okay, so basically, they travel. It's really cold. And for whatever reason, Snorri, whatever, is like, she needs to suffer, essentially, because it proves that the gods are keeping her alive. I mean, the gods want her alive, so she'll be fine. So, like, she has it in her head. She did kind of, like, start to step up a little bit and be like, okay, well, the gods said whoever controlled me is the one who's going to be king, so control me. Like, tell me what to do. Tell me how to stay warm. Um, but anyway, so Bjorn kept her warm all night. Surprise, surprise. By sharing covers. The last couple pages of this chapter were her being like, I could die today. We should make out. I mean, they did more than make out, but I knew they'd get together. And he's like, this is the sentence that really got me is, you are mine, even if only the two of us know it. See? Okay. There hasn't been too much in the plot that's changed, but in her attitude there has. So they went to battle. And she's still in that whole like, if the gods will it, then it'll happen, right? So like she still went into battle even though she was injured. And lo and behold, her injury made her falter and people died. Now, we could say it's not her fault. These people probably would have died in battle anyway, or no matter what, people would have died in battle, right? Um, but she feels guilty. Okay. So they win this battle, and now they're taking over this land, and um, she's all depressy, right? She full on depression. And then she finds out her brother and the girl he wanted to marry, who is her best friend, I guess, are in town. Like they came in and like he wants to fight for Snorri again, who's now the king instead of the Jarl or whatever, I don't know. And like she's just like, bruh, you're an idiot. Like the reason he wants you close and the reason he's accepting you coming back is because he wants to keep an eye on you so that he can use you as a threat to me. And then the brother's like, um, you like I fought for this before he even knew you, and you're just being essentially like a bitch. And like she's just sitting there like, everything I've done has been to protect you and you don't even care. You aren't going to do the things to protect yourself. And you aren't going to do the things to protect my best friend slash your now wife. Like, the fuck? So I'm a little frustrated with them, just as much as she was probably. I'm a little confused. Because, okay, so how the gods put their blood into a baby is either they have sex with the parents or it's like a secret, okay? For some reason, they made it seem like this was a secret, like nobody knew that she had this thing until it happened, right? But then, like, after the battle, the singer sang and she realized, like, everyone's afraid of her. And she's like, why did, like, I thought that I was doing justice in this battle. Like, yeah, I went a little overboard and I feel really guilty, but also, like, I did it for justice, right? Like, that wasn't my motivation. And, like, she had an idea. She's like, I'm going to go to my mom because if I go talk to my mom, I can see, like, what her information on the goddess who gave me her blood is and then share that with the singer and get the real story out there, right? And like oddly, the person that's on her side is the now king's wife, who notoriously didn't like Freya. Okay, and she's like, go be with your mom. Go check it out. Like I'll come up with a reason for you and Bjorn to be gone for a day and a half. But so she goes to her mom, and this is where I'm like confused because like her mom comes out and she's like in all the like she's being treated well. She's definitely a prisoner of sorts, but like she could leave if she really wanted to. And she's like treated pretty well. She has like new silver and whatever. And like Freya talks to her and she says, okay, it wasn't the Helene, Hlin. I don't Helene, I'm just gonna call her Helene. It wasn't Helene that we slept with. It was somebody else. We don't know who she was. Um, she said that she would heal your brother because he was sick. And then like if we laid with her, and then like the next day he was gone, and we cried, and then Helene brought back your brother and was like, look, she doesn't care if you cry to her, but like I do. So like, here's your baby. All I want is in return is to be able to use the baby in your womb um, for my vessel. So like, okay, wouldn't that mean that she has two gods in her? The one that they had sex with, and then like Helene? Okay, so fine, there's that. And then like afterwards they're having a conversation about it and the mom's like, I'm so sorry that I did this. I'm so sorry that I put your brother above you. I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And then like immediately it flips. And and whenever Freya's like, okay, I don't know what to do, The mom's like, well, you should stop sleeping with Bjorn. Obviously, like everyone can see it. Come on, you guys are like all over each other. You're gonna get us killed. And then Freya's just like, bruh, you could have left any time. My brother didn't have to go back and work for this dude. Like, so she just like flipped immediately and was like, you're a whore and also you're gonna get us all killed and it's your fault. Even though like her decisions led up to Freya being in this situation and Freya didn't really have a choice in a lot of things. So like, I don't know. And then also, this is Bogey. This is my boyfriend's doggo. Hey, Bogey. Say hi. It's Bogey. I have to be right. There's no way that Ylva or whatever, the wife of the king, is the one who did it. It has to be, or who's working with the other king. It has to be the singer. Like I said way earlier, it has to be the singer. She's the only one that if we're picking a woman, unless it's a woman we don't know whose child is under the now king's command, it has to be the singer. And like, okay, how do I know this? How do I know this again? This is me like really for sure knowing. I'm not for sure for sure. How do I know though? Because they went to see her mom, right? And there were only like two people who knew. Um, it has to be the singer though. She was like really angry. She's like, maybe people should fear you. So they were betrayed. They were betrayed. Did I even say that at the beginning of this? They were betrayed. Somebody said, hey, by the way, other king dude, here's where you can find Freya. And she'll have like only Bjorn with her. And they killed Freya's mom because Freya's mom told them everything. I was like, oh yeah, they left like an hour ago. They took two horses. Here's where you can find them probably. Go ahead, go get them. And then the lady was like, mm, only bitches betray their daughters. And killed her. Bruh. I literally just started reading the next chapter. She basically said, she's like, in my head, like, I know that this is wrong. I know it's wrong to, like, want vengeance like this. I know that it's wrong that I just left Bjorn. I know that it's wrong that I'm doing all this stuff, but, like, the anger is controlling me. And I was like, oh my God, wait a minute. The prophecy said something about whoever controls her will, like, it's something about controlling. It's about being controlled, right? It's whoever controls you will be the king or some shit like that, right? What if it's not a human? What if it's the gods? So the other king came to where they were at, like the camp was, at almost exactly the same time that Freya got back and punched the wife of the original Jarl, now king, Snorri. I was like, you betrayed us! Um, so there's that. We also found out that Bjorn was the cause of his own mother's death. So anyway, basically, she realizes this, or she finds this out, in the middle of, like, the beginning of a battle. So, like, the other king comes to where they are, and he's like, I won't kill anybody if you just come to me. And then, of course, she's like, I want to leave, like, in general. Like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be controlled by Snorri, King Snorri, that hasn't done anything but get more people killed. But then, of course, he threatens her brother and her brother's wife, who is now pregnant, of course. So she's like, I'm between a rock and a hard place. Really, the way I can figure it out is if I know which one of them killed your mom. And Bjorn's like, it was me. um, but so basically she realizes that like in protecting herself with the shield, she's making it so that the attacks are going and hitting other people. So she's the cause of other people's death, her life. So she's like, I'm gonna kill myself. She like runs to go off a cliff, and that like specter thing stops her for a hot second, and then Bjorn like grabs her, and then they go off a waterfall. Everybody suspects they're dead, so they like get to run away. And then like they go, he's like, everyone thinks we're dead. So they like hide out, and in the hideout, that's obviously where they have sex for the first time. They have sex multiple times, fine, whatever. Tell me why I don't trust him now. Tell me why, in their conversation, when she's going on like, oh my gosh, I can imagine our future together, but like, what if he doesn't want to give up being a warrior? And she's like, what do you see our future as? He's like, I don't care what it is as long as it's with you. Like, tell me why I don't believe him. Well, I was right, and I was wrong. I was right, and then I convinced myself I was wrong. Ah. So, I was right when I thought Bjorn's mom was alive. Also, do you remember when I said I think Harold's gonna be a good guy, or like at least be like a benefit? I think that in the second book, he's going to be the way that she finds out who she really is and like learns to be her own person because like he apparently saved Bjorn and like raised him with the with his mom, like took care of them. So Bjorn was betraying her. He was going to not kidnap her. He was going to take her to that king's Harold, whatever, to his space, Nordland. And then, of course, the singer was in on it because she, like, ran away from everybody and was like, ah, I'm leaving forever. And then ran into the singer, and the singer, like, drugged her. There were two bloods. I was right on that. It was Hell is the second one. Overall, I was kind of right. Which, like, I know the point of a book is not to, like, be right. But also, I'm a Virgo, so it kind of is. Um, I did enjoy this book. I'm gonna tell you my rating scale. My rating scale is I don't have zeros. I just do 1 through 5. 1 is did not finish. 2 is kind of fought to finish, like didn't really want to keep going, but I did. 3 is it's an average book. It's fine. 4 is I would recommend it to somebody, and 5 is I wish that I could read it for the first time again. I feel like this is like a 3.5 because it's like an average book, a little better than average. Like if I knew that somebody was into Norse mythology or like liked romancy, fantasy type things, like this is an interesting one. I don't think I've seen one similar to this yet. And it was well written. So I probably would suggest it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to suggest it. So I'm going to go to 3.5. I will probably look at the next one. I'll see if it's available. I liked it. It was good. I mean, predictable, but I don't think that makes a bad book. Like I don't think being able to predict the end is a bad book, or I don't think being able to predict like portions of what's going to happen is a bad book. I think what makes a bad book or makes a book less enjoyable is if you can predict it and it's boring. It's like, okay, this is two-dimensional characters. I mean, I'm not going to say that I felt like the characters were fully fleshed out in this. Um, they felt like they were their tropes, but they were enjoyable to hear about. So overall, liked it. I think you'd like it. Whoever you are, I think you'd like it. You should read it. I'm not going to go out of my way to tell you you have to add it to the front of your TBR. You can add it to the back. Anyway, okay. I think it's bedtime. Okay. Good night.